we're trying to get there first. That's what everybody's trying to do in racing, and I think that's what BMW expects us to do. Is win. That's the name of the game.
In a bid to dominate the American Le Mans Racing Series, Prototype Technology Group embarked on a challenging endeavor to transform the latest M3 chassis from BMW into another world-class race car. Welcome to the E-46 Evolution.
From the day that we got these chassis, unloaded them out of the containers, to the time that they actually roll out of the building onto the trailer, I would say there's about 6 to 8 weeks of time involved. It's part of the rules framework that we work under, that you have to start out with a production car. It could be a 323 coupe or a 328 coupe. It really is exactly like the street car. It becomes a race car. When we build these cars, we don't really have there isn't a worksheet where it says, now you do this and now you do that. There's fabricators, there's welders, there are machinists. Each one of those has its own little specialty, and they all have to work together. It's not like a Lego set where each piece fits together every time. None of these cars that we're going to build are exactly the same. You can't make them exactly the same. There are slight little differences. That's probably why one race car, for whatever reason, goes faster than another, and nobody can really figure it out. The best that you can hope for, that they're all good, and then you've done your job well.
In the GT class of racing, the redesign of the car must provide space for all the performance components, but must not distract from the general shape and overall look of the original production car. Through a painstaking process of applying and reapplying Bondo, shaping, sanding, and sanding again, gradually the body of the E-46 comes to life.
We'll cut that original bumper, the ends of it off, move it out to where we need it, and mold it into the flares, and then we'll put these pieces in between it because they're actually the same shape and everything, same size as the bumper.
Body workers sculpt and mold the exact exterior shape of the car. This shape is then matched exactly when the lightweight carbon fiber body parts are produced.
Once we have the body made the way we want it, have the molds made, we're stuck with that. So we have to spend a lot of time to make sure that that's exactly the way we want it before we send it out to have the molds made.
Every good race car needs a good motor, and PTG assembles each of their motors to strict specifications.
The only purpose-built parts that are actually in the motor that are specifically built for what we're doing are the pistons and the connecting rods. We run a production crankshaft. The cylinder head casting that we're using is the series casting we just modified on our 5-axis machining center. All the fasteners are standard fasteners. The motor's 90–95% production.
Team PTG works with the exact production chassis, but many modifications must be made to the original chassis design. The new M3 must be endowed with the strength to withstand the miles of fierce competition that are part of every race car's fate.
You can see all of these little spots all over the places where we put additional welds onto the chassis other than what comes from the BMW factory. Right here, these are air jacks. We don't jack the car up like you do in NASCAR racing. Of course, this is done with air. The car comes in, we plug in a hose, and the car magically goes up in the air.
What we do is we reshape the wheel tub to take the larger diameter tire and the lower ride height. We reinforce the front strut towers
the roll cage right down there. Two purposes for it. The first is it makes the whole car stiffer, and the other very important aspect is driver safety. These tubes that we add in here in a bad situation can save a driver from being injured, and in a really worst case scenario, a driver from being killed.
New on the E-46 chassis and totally different from the E-36 design, this race car sports a passenger side exhaust system designed to minimize weight and drag under the car. Here, the body in white, a racing term for a fresh yet to be modified chassis, begins its transformation into a handcrafted piece of artwork.
This car probably in another week will move from the fabrication shop over into the actual mechanic shop, and we will start putting bits and pieces on the car. What we're going to do is we completely assemble the car without it being painted. There's no paint on it now. Make sure everything fits. There's always little bits and pieces that you have to weld on or you have to drill holes. Then we take it all apart, and then the whole tub is going to get painted white, and then we reassemble everything.
Can you measure the street car? See where? Yeah, about where you are in height.
I'm trying to install the dash into the race car, and of course we don't have a lot of the stuff in the race car, but I'm trying to get it in stock position. So I'm just taking some measurements off the window and off the floor, see if I can get it, how close I am where I'm at now. I like it.
For the past 6 years, Team PTG and BMW have been competing at tracks all over North America, winning race after race with BMW's second M3 chassis design, the E36. And during that time, they have earned an impressive list of accomplishments. Prototype Technology Group, based in Winchester, Virginia, has totaled an astonishing 32 victories in the past 60 races. 33 of those were started from the pole position. In only 6.5 years, this team has earned 11 different championships, including 4 team, 4 manufacturer, and 3 driver championships, securing their place in the impressive history of BMW and BMW racing. After putting the entire car together, the team must remove every component for the painting process. Nearly a 48-hour job and 3 coats of paint later, the chassis is ready for its final assembly. After the car is moved back in the mechanic shop, it has its historic identification plate installed, indicating this is just the first in a long line of new GT race cars to come under BMW's M3 E46 chassis design.
Everything's fit, ready to go. You always run into some detail stuff at the end. We just go over and make sure that we haven't missed anything under the hood that we can't get to. This is only the 3rd weekend that we've worked, Saturday and Sunday. And when it comes to putting a new car together, that's not bad.
Man, look at that.
Huh?
Wow.
Piece by piece, day by day, the team reassembles the car.
These guys have been working incredibly hard.
It's a job that you really have to love, because it is a lot of concentration involved by the guys that work on the cars. When we put the rondelle on, we have to think what name we're going to give this, because this makes it official. Here you are, Bruno. You're now official. Beat Porsches, Bruno. Yeah, you need to. Okay. My side's on. Yeah, hold them.
Mocking up the gearbox cooler system. Make sure that we don't have interference. Okay, next thing's get the gearbox in.
This is made by Hewland. Nothing stock about it.
Every piece to the car is put back exactly where it came from. Each component, like the upright and brake rotor, must be put back, ready to go racing.
This is our instrument cluster. It's a miniature computer that records and displays all the engine parameters and chassis parameters. The driver doesn't have to concentrate on what's happening in the car. There's preset alarms. If you get too high of oil temp or water temp or something like that, it will tell you that there's a problem and warn you that there's something to be watched. When the car comes into the pits, we can download all the data and see what the car is doing up on the track, and we use that as a tuning tool.
Each step in building a new race car is important, but the setup stage is the starting place for how the car handles on the track.
No problem.
Each of the adjustable parameters is measured. It's a delicate balance between grip and tire wear. The team spends hours ensuring the car is ready for the challenge. The crew works countless hours so that the race truck can carry their new creation to its first testing ground in Sebring, Florida. The most amazing part of hand building a car from scratch is the first motor start. 20 minutes before the car goes on the truck is the first time anyone has heard the new M3's rumble. This is when you truly see the confidence this team has in building a car.
There's a period when you build a brand new race car where there is a period of 3 weeks where it is so intense, where you have to be so focused that basically it comes out either you love racing or you don't. They have made a commitment, and the commitment is that we are as good or better than anybody else, and this is what it takes to do it.
There is no doubt that this is a team effort. Thousands of work hours were put into just this one car, but that's what it takes to make a winning program.
I will say that I put these guys up against any racing team. I don't care how big or how little it is, or any racing car manufacturer. In building a car, these guys can do it as good or better, and for sure they can do it faster.
Each crew member has a specific job at the shop and at the track. At the shop, they design and build high-performance M3s. At the track, they become a professional sports team capable of competing with the best motorsports teams in the world. Before the car is even allowed on the track, it must overcome one more major obstacle: technical inspection. The tech inspectors will measure and weigh the car and examine the many modifications which were made to the original chassis design. It's not unusual for a car to fail tech inspection, but today, the team is gratified with its first major victory.
It's a brand new car, it's never gone through tech, and we made it through the first time. You guys, that's
Big congratulations.
fantastic. The first part of our job, we did it right. We made it through tech inspection, so let's see if it goes fast tomorrow.
Sebring's tarmac is to be the proving ground for the new BMW. Until Team PTG came to this abandoned airstrip, they had no idea how their new creation would perform.
All we have to do is continue on with what we did yesterday, and we're unbeatable. Everybody was very pleased with the way the car looked and what we did. I mean, they couldn't be happier. Just an indication of how they accepted the car and what the car looked like, and what their ideas of GT cars. So for that, you guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah, congratulate everybody for a great car out of the box. The car really feels good. It's balanced real well. So it turns in real good.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Good job. Great job.
Thank you, Larry.
With a good solid car out of the box, the team quickly changes gears and sets their sights on the 12 hours of Sebring.
Without the guys that are under the tent there, this would have never happened. So the real credit goes to those guys in dark blue uniforms there that really made this happen. We built this car in 3 months from the scratch, did all the body molds, body work, everything. So it's all the guys that are standing around there.